I'll give him 1 minute to freestyle rap.
Be sure to follow us on the YouTubes because I can't think of anything on rhymes with YouTubes.
I can, but there is the Rollin' Bowl. Is it any good? Don't know. I have never been. But more importantly, there is Ken from the Ken Continuum YouTube channel.
Hey people, how you doing? It's Friday, August the 9th. It is 3:29 in the afternoon, and I think it's around 27 Celsius, but feeling more like 33 with the humidex because the sun is out, the humidity is still here, but the rain isn't here, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, it works for me. We were planning on getting rained on for this walk. In fact, yesterday we were like, should we still meet today? Should we postpone it? But the weather gods were on our side.
I kind of prefer it was still cloudy, but I guess we'll have to contend with the sun. Walk on the shady side of the street maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll have the sun to our backs at least. And on that note, for this one, we are here at Bloor and Landsdowne. I should point out, there's an entrance to Landsdowne subway station just north of here. And we're going to be walking east about 3 kilometers or so over to Bathurst Station, or at least Bathurst Street. So this will take us through I think this is Bloordale where we are. Then we'll be going through Bloor Court, or Bloor Court Village, and then Koreatown.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm in Bloordale or Bloor Court.
I don't think many people actually call these neighborhoods by those names.
No, not really.
Yeah, in case you couldn't have guessed, Ken will be joining me for this.
That's right. It's been a while since we've done a official collaboration.
Yeah. And I have a feeling there might be 1 or 2 more coming up in the coming weeks, but I guess you can stay tuned for that. There might be a 3rd person joining us.
Put your best guess down in the comments.
So this is east on Bloor Street West along the north side. And yeah, I was not preparing for this kind of weather today. I've got my umbrella in the backpack.
Well, once I saw the sun was out, I decided it was worth taking the risk to not bring my umbrella because I hate carrying around my umbrella. So I think I made the right choice there.
And if you're not familiar with who this guy is, you can find him on YouTube at the Ken Continuum.
That's right.
Basically does the same thing I do, just not as good, so.
Don't believe anything he says.
But I'll put a link to his channel down in the description. Go check him out. We both do videos where we seemingly aimlessly wander around this great city. We both go live several times a week.
Yeah, we've both been at it for over 5 years, right? We're going around there.
I would say we have OG status, given how many people are doing it these days.
Yeah, I just passed my 6th anniversary actually doing it. Yeah.
I think I'm over 5, but my first videos were like kind of goofy hyperlapses and time lapses.
I remember watching those, and I was like, "Who's this guy?"
This guy's not going to be competition.
I was like, "What's this guy doing?" Oh, he's doing hyperlapses.
And my first ever video, actually, I was dating someone who lived in my apartment building, and they had a view much higher than mine. So I set up a GoPro on their balcony, and I turned that into like a day to night video, and I set it to some very over dramatic music. So if you go on my channel and sort by date and go back to the oldest one, that's what you'll find. What was your first video?
It was a walk down Bay Street on a Tuesday afternoon, I think. At around 2:30 in the afternoon, from what I remember. I just walked from Queen and Bay down to King, and then I walked east on King to Yonge, and then north on Yonge to almost to Dundas, and then my camera, my iPhone that I was using ran out of space, so the video ended.
That you used to put on like a selfie stick.
I didn't even have the selfie stick then. I was literally just holding it in my hand like this, just walking along like this with my iPhone.
Little did you know what that would lead to.
Yeah, it was 19 minutes long. That was my first ever video, and I uploaded it to YouTube with zero editing, just straight from my phone onto YouTube as is. And lo and behold, it started getting views. It like racked up hundreds of views, and then thousands, and then tens of thousands. And I was like, what the heck? So I thought, I'm gonna keep doing this.
And you still are.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first video I posted on Reddit, and it got like upvoted, and it stayed at the top of the Toronto sub for a while. Ooh. Honky honk.
It's funny how one person honks, the other person automatically honks also.
Can we just ban these death machines already?
Community bus. What's that all about?
I don't think we're allowed on that bus.
No.
That's not.
What community? What is the community?
Yeah, it's not a
that's on
Wheel-Trans
that
bus, is it?
No, I don't get it. I've never seen one of those before.
If you know what the community bus is all about, because we're going to forget and not Google it later, let me know down in the comments. It's a really cool bar across the street called 3 Speed. It's kind of a little bit of a hipstery vibe. That's kind of the theme of this whole part of Bloor Street.
Yeah, this whole stretch is pretty pre-gentrified, you know, but with little hints of gentrification here and there.
A good mix of dive bars that are actual dive bars and dive bars that are...
And check that out. That's really coming along.
That's not just a high school anymore.
Several towers there. I think one of them will be like 39 stories.
Steps from Landsdowne Station as well as Dufferin Mall. And here's the Burdock. I've been to this place a number of times. In fact, I was making a video on one of the street festivals through here, and I stopped in there and I had a drink.
I haven't been to too many places along here.
Are you a plant person?
No, not really. I hear you are, though. Lately.
Yeah. I've only killed a few.
The last plant I had was a cactus, and I had it for many years, but eventually it bit the dust.
All right, next one.
So we are approaching Dufferin Street, home of the famous 29 Suffering Dufferin.
Yeah. I took a ride on that not too long ago, and it was a bit of a suffering experience, I have to admit. I didn't have a seat, so I had to stand, and since I don't take too many buses, it just seemed extremely jerky and stop and go-ish, you know, the whole time. I was being tossed all over the place, and I was like, this is no fun.
But on the positive side, it's a rather frequent route. Like, you're never waiting that long for it.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, yeah.
And there's express buses quite frequently.
Yeah, if you don't mind the herky-jerky sort of standing room only atmosphere, it's convenient.
The future of rental living is here. I have my doubts. And when's the last time we did a video like this? It must have been, have we done one this year?
I don't think so. Like, we have run into each other a few times, but when was the last real collab we did?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
The last collab I did, I did one with Action Kid back in Thailand.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Suffering Dufferin,
Oh yeah.
there's the 29 or 929. And just south of here is Dufferin Mall. How do you handle these people on the street here trying to get you to sign up for stuff?
I just ignore, or I just say, sorry, can't stop. That's usually what I say. Because usually I'm recording and I literally can't stop, you know?
I try to be polite, but a lot of times if I'm not recording, I have my earphones in and I just keep walking.
Yeah.
So we have left Bloordale. Now we are in Bloor Court Village. I think the neighborhood north of here is Bloor Court Park, and to the south, Dufferin Grove. This Taco Bell's pretty new.
Oh yeah, I noticed they've been making a comeback in like the core of Toronto. There was only a couple left in the whole core, like not too long ago, and now all of a sudden there's several more.
There used to be one in the Scotia Plaza food court, I believe.
And one just opened in the Union Station food court.
We pull over just for 1 sec. Just want to get a fabulous view of Dufferin Grove. All right, we're
This
good.
is my sister's neighborhood.
There's a guy behind us who was quite jingly.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
want those sound, but he popped into the laundromat.
Yeah, I do that too. I'll slow down to let a noisy walker pass me by. Or a loud talker. Some people on their phones just shouting into it.
The perils of walking around with a camera.
Yeah.
You had any dingus encounters lately?
No, I've been pretty dingus free for like a good year or so, like other than just a comment or something, but not like a real hardcore dingus encounter. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Maybe the curse has finally worn off. You too, right? You've been dingus free, yeah?
I pretty much use the smaller camera for everything I do now, and I find during live streams it attracts way less attention versus walking around with a smartphone on a gimbal. They're kind of just saying, look at me to everyone when you do that.
Yeah. There's my sister's street right there.
You're gonna dox your sister?
Wow.
Street number,
It's a long
phone number.
street with a lot of houses.
Zesty Burgers. It's always interesting seeing all the different businesses that come and go. I think I could live in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I could.
Protected bike lanes, you got the subway. No shortage of places to eat. Any travel or trips coming up?
I'm thinking I'd like to hit up Montreal this summer.
This summer? Oh, that is soon.
Yeah.
This summer only has a month left.
Yeah, so within the next month, I'm thinking.
How would you get there? Via train, bus, fly?
Well, I'm thinking I might take the Via train there and then take the Megabus back. Kind of have a bit of a plan. That way I could, if I wanted to do videos of the travel, I could do a separate train video and then a bus video, you know?
I have an idea that would get you a lot of views. But I don't know if you'd be up for it.
What, hitchhiking?
Yep.
Yeah, that would give me a lot of views probably. Or walking, like that one guy who did the walk from New York City to Philadelphia.
Oh, I watched that.
Yeah, or Philadelphia to New York City, I guess, yeah. That's only 100 miles though. Montreal's a lot farther than that.
Yeah, that maybe walking here to Niagara Falls would be similar.
Yeah.
Well, That's cool. I've done Montreal a few times. I would definitely go before the snow falls.
Oh yeah, I don't want to go in the winter.
It's an amazing city, especially to navigate by foot, but in the winter, they do not take care of their sidewalks at all. It is slush fest.
Yeah, so Montreal. And Ottawa is not far away. I'd like to do a trip to Ottawa sometime. I want to get all of Canada's major cities, basically, because I've got the western major cities now that I've traveled to for the channel.
Vancouver, Edmonton.
Calgary, and Edmonton. I didn't go to Winnipeg, but let's say cities with over 1 million people, right, in the metro area.
You just made all your Regina viewers sad.
Yeah. So I'm just missing Montreal and Ottawa for the other big 1 million plus cities.
All right, we're just gonna pause and take a break here. I'm going to go to Janky's place for a drink and lunch, and Ken is gonna go up to the New York Business Club. And
that's where I go.
That's
my usual haunt. That's right.
Apparently, things go on up there that should best be not described on YouTube.
I'm the musical entertainment. I go up there and sing some Frank Sinatra covers, and I hang out at the New York Club.
Frank Sinatra. A little more Frank Stallone than Frank Sinatra. But.
Right.
This is Bloor Court Road, a fairly major north-south street on the west side.
It's a pretty interesting street, Bloor Court, really, because it has some stretches with some retail.
Yeah, just north of here.
And lots of nice older, like apartment buildings in some places also, especially more south if you go down south of College.
Yeah, I would say DuPont all the way south. It's pretty interesting. I've done it on live streams, but I don't think I've done north of here, between here and DuPont before on pre-record videos. But I've only gone south of here on a stream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the more interesting minor streets, I guess you could say. Going north-south. Black Belt World. Okay, never noticed that before.
Neither have I. There's a lot of Ethiopian restaurants in this area.
It's funny because at the far end of Danforth, there's also a lot of Ethiopian restaurants down there also.
Danforth and Greenwood, just east of there.
Yeah.
That area is actually known as Little Ethiopia.
This might be the longest stretch of sort of built-up street fronting retail in the city if you combine Bloor and Danforth together as one. Because you can go all the way past Bloor West Village, like to the Kingsway area in the west.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah. Yeah, so you could...
If you combine it, it's a big street.
It is.
And you can walk along.
Jump in there.
No worries.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too.
See,
Yeah,
I would kind of disagree with that because I would say the Humber and the Dawn break up that retail. So I would say from like Jane, maybe to like
even then, that's
just
a
past
long,
Sherburne Street.
a long
Yeah,
stretch.
that's still probably the longest.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the Humber River and the Dawn River, yeah, it would just be...
Yep. And that's really just 5 minutes. You have to walk across those river valley areas, really.
There's a cafe. We're of course on the part of Bloor Street that is north of Dundas, but if we kept going in the other direction, Dundas is north of Bloor. And then when you get to Etobicoke, Dundas dips down and becomes south of Bloor again.
It's very confusing if you're trying to explain it to out-of-towners.
Well, I think the reason is Dundas wasn't one continuous street when it was built. It's just like 11
It
different
got
streets
patchworked
stitched
together, yeah. large sections of it used to have a different name, right?
And I think Danforth and Bloor were always two distinctly different streets, and then when the viaduct was built, they were linked up. Yeah. And we are nearing Ossington. I think a lot of people just refer to this whole area as like Bloor and Ossington. Whoa.
What is going on
Looks like
there?
someone just dumped an ashtray out. I don't know why I stopped to look at that.
Gross.
That guy was ringing his bell at that cyclist. My Herculean force. It was weird. I stepped on one of these like sidewalk panels and the whole thing just dipped.
Yeah, that happens sometimes when I do it.
These people are waiting for the 63 Ossington. I think. Maybe not. No, they would get that in the station. This is where you would board the night bus.
Oh, the shade feels very good.
I'm just glad we have the sun on our backs. If we planned this walk in the other direction,
Yeah.
that would have been a bit of a mistake.
And I have long enough hair to protect the back of my neck, so I won't get the redneck look.
Is that a Hurt Plus 2-in-1?
Let's see, are you getting the redneck? Oh, maybe a little bit.
Maybe. What sucked was I was hoping to get a bit of a break from this heat when I went to Europe. And I ended up getting stuck in a bit of a heat wave over there.
Oh, God.
And like their hottest days of the year in both London and Brussels.
Right.
I ended up changing hotels because my first Brussels hotel didn't have air conditioning.
That seems bizarre to me
It's,
that they think that's okay to not have an air conditioner.
yeah, I think it's generally pretty mild. Also, they don't seem as vulnerable to the heat as we are.
It was a Sonder, right? Sonder
No,
hotel?
Sonder was in London.
Oh, that was
It
in London.
It was
Okay.
Citadines
Okay.
in Brussels, which I changed. We're in Ibis. And the hotel I changed it to had an air conditioner, but it didn't have a fridge. I was like, what the hell? These
Okay.
aren't cheap places. And I stayed at like a pretty expensive place in Amsterdam before, and it didn't have a fridge. I think they just have like different comfort standards.
Yeah.
They're also much less wasteful than we are. Ooh, that did not smell
No,
good.
it still doesn't smell good.
It's like smoldering garbage.
Following us. Yeah, it's still following us. Yuck.
It's like Jerry's sob. Remember that episode when his car stunk?
Oh yeah.
And he left it.
The beast. Yeah. It still stinks.
It's like an izakaya? Toronto Darts and Games. Very imaginative name. The Jolly Bar. Happy hour. Draft for $5. That is a deal. Until 9 p.m. too. On a Friday. Are you going to be going to the CNE this year?
I think I am for the first time. On opening day, Sloan, my favorite Canadian band from the 90s era, is playing a show that's free with admission. So I think I'm gonna go.
At the band show?
I'm not sure where. Maybe.
You've talked about Sloan before
Yeah.
on our videos.
Yeah.
Last time I saw them, they were playing like New Year's Eve at City Hall, and there was like
I
maybe
was there. I was at that
4
show.
people watching.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, there was some really annoying dude headbanging. Look kind of like you.
I don't remember headbanging, but anything's possible. I go pretty crazy at those Sloan shows.
Yeah, I've done opening day the last 2 years. I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna live stream. I ran into some guys yesterday who said they were going and we're gonna be recording.
Oh, okay.
Sapand and Yoshi.
Oh, yes, I know that.
I'm trying to convince somebody else to go, who shall be nameless for now.
Well, I'm going to be there too, so chances are we might all end up together in a big group. Until Sloan plays, then I'll have to go on my own.
Well, I'm going to get in there, do a video walking through the Prince's Gates, and then I'll do my Skyride video, and then I'll do a live stream, and I'll probably live stream the Skyride as well. You just got such an awesome view of the city.
Yeah.
Checks cashed. I have not been involved with a physical check in well over a decade, I would think. Writing or receiving?
I think it was right at the start of the pandemic.
It's a well-deserved honk.
Last time I used a check.
You look like a check kind of guy.
Well, I did use checks, yeah, right up till 2020 to pay my rent.
Are you the guy writing checks at the grocery store?
I was never one of those people, no. No. But that was the only thing I ever used the check for, was just to pay my rent. But then once the pandemic began, my building management switched to using e-transfers.
Oh.
So
mine just goes in there and takes it.
Oh yeah?
I don't even have to e-transfer it. And we're walking alongside Christie Pitts, home of the Toronto Maple Leafs of the Intercounty Baseball League. There's a semi-professional team that plays here. Speaking of sports, the Canadian men's 4x4 100 relay team won the gold.
Oh yeah, just heard
earlier
that.
today.
What? Come on, let's pay attention. Come on.
Courtesy of, no worries, courtesy of some very poorly managed baton passes by the US and the UK. How is this guy wearing this coat? Riding into the sun.
I don't know. I have no idea. And look at, she's even wearing a big hoodie. Like, I don't get it. Although I am wearing long pants, but I don't really feel the heat from the waist down.
And you're not wearing Bessies.
The waist down, I'm usually okay. It's just from here up that I feel the heat, right?
Ken's not a shorts wearing guy.
No.
Are those new Chucks?
I've had these for a couple years.
That's what you guys tuned into. Listen about me asking Ken about his Chucks.
Yeah.
It's the kind of quality banter you get.
That's right. I can do 4-hour-long live streams wearing my Chucks.
It's nice to take a break from trying to be somewhat informative and just kind of casually talk about shit as we walk along Bloor. I'm actually a little low on Toronto content. This might end up on my channel sooner than later. It'll probably be before Ken's video is released because we're going to record one together after this, but I'll put a link to his once his is published as well.
Well, mine might go up on my channel tomorrow evening.
All right, well maybe he will beat me to the punch then. So I hope you didn't watch his yet.
And if you did, I hope you enjoyed it.
So we are about to enter Koreatown. Do you ever wonder what the story is behind streets that change names? Like this is Christie Street north of Bloor.
No, but Toronto does that a lot.
Yeah, Gray Street
Yeah.
to the south. It's really just the same street. At some point, they must have been two different streets that were eventually joined up.
Because I've commented on that many times about other streets that do this.
Like Carlton and College.
Yeah. All along Yonge Street, really, when some of the more smaller residential streets cross Yonge, they change names.
I'm guessing they started life as different streets.
And they often don't line up perfectly either. There's like a little bit of a jog, you know, when it crosses from one side of Yonge to the other. You kind of have to do a slight jog.
I like that. Can I bring up some more topics that you will show through? How would you describe the current economic situation here?
It's
I have a friend who talks in very exaggerated hand gestures. Kind of entertaining. So this is where Christie Station is, which is all under construction. I believe they're making it accessible. You'll notice the subway runs just north of Bloor Street as they built it using the cut and cover method. They essentially just dug a big trench. And that way they didn't have to disrupt any traffic on Bloor Street, which had streetcars at the time. I was in Koreatown last week for dinner.
Isn't this your favorite neighborhood in Toronto right here?
Probably. Yeah. I lived here for a year. I quite liked it. Of course, Clinton's, a longtime fixture of the neighborhood, is gone. The owners closed it, and then I think the people who owned the karaoke shop purchased it and called it Bar 693, and it unfortunately wasn't able to hang on. And they had a room in the back where they would have like 90s dance nights and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Taiwanese street bento. That used to be Tacos El Asador, but they moved across the street.
What does PAT stand for?
I do not know, but in Korean it says Hanguk Shikpum. Hanguk would mean Korea. I don't know. Shikpum is like a kind of place. You know, well, I'm not gonna embarrass myself any further. But between there and Fiesta Farms, a fantastic independent grocery store just north of Christie and Bloor, I was able to get all my grocery shopping done.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I hear it's a good place. It's just far away, so I never go there.
Here's where I ate the other day. I had galbi ribs.
No pressure. Take care.
Okay, cool. Bye.
There's the Bloor Fruit Market.
So now we are going to eat.
You'll walk out of a place and just stop in your tracks in the middle of the sidewalk.
Yeah. Classic Toronto move. Yep.
It's funny, stuff like that bothers me here, but when I'm traveling in another city, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Just let people be. But here, for some reason, it angers up the blood. I don't know why.
Yeah. I noticed that happens a lot. I was watching a Not Just Bikes video where he went to Tokyo. And Tokyo has very little bicycle infrastructure, right? And it has like wires and poles all over the place. and he didn't seem to have a problem with any of that. But if it was in Toronto and he was making a video, he would complain endlessly about it, right? Yeah.
But they have a better distinction between a road and a street, and like slow moving traffic, and that's generally where you bike. They don't embrace bicycling to the extent that like Amsterdam or Copenhagen does, but they tolerate it extremely well.
Right.
Like,
and I noticed watching the videos from Bangkok that Action Kid did and you did that, man, that is not a very pedestrian friendly environment in a lot of ways, you know?
yeah.
But it's okay, it's Bangkok, you know, so whatever.
Yeah, you're in someone else's backyard.
Yeah. Like, I remember Action Kid was walking down the sidewalk, you know, the sidewalk was about 3 feet wide and there was literally a pole right in the middle of it, you know, things like that.
Yeah, good luck if you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Still, it's such an awesome city. I've only been twice this year.
Only, yeah.
Where would you go if you could go somewhere very far away?
I'd go
on
to
a long haul?
Tokyo. Yeah.
Tokyo?
Oh, yeah. My sister just went there with her family recently and she raved about it. They all loved it. She keeps telling me to go.
It's pretty much unlike anywhere else. When I lived in Seoul, if we had a long weekend, I would always look for like a cheap flight to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or like if I had 4 or 5 days off. But budget-wise, I would say Osaka is the superior choice. You get that same big Japanese city vibe. In fact, you get a little more in terms of sightseeing. You can go to Kyoto or Nara, like a very short train ride, and it's nowhere near as expensive.
Right.
Tokyo's like London or New York City prices.
Yeah.
I've been looking at hotels there, and it is eye-popping.
This is looking good, you know. I mean, once these spaces get some retail here, it's going to be nice. So I like how
the massing is appropriate. It's kind of stepped back.
Yeah, and like they look different from one another, and they do retain the old historic, you know, facade here also. And this Markham Street will reopen also as a pedestrian-only strip.
That's where the Victory Cafe used to be.
Yeah.
I used to go to that.
Looks like they're making good progress there with
like a big sidewalk.
Yeah, they have like the street, the bricks all laid in there.
And this rental building complex replacing where the iconic Honest Ed's.
But of course, one of the first places to open has to be a bank, right?
Just sucking the soul right out of the neighborhood.
It's like you build this awesome thing and then a bank goes there.
Look how big that is. That takes up like half of that whole building in the base. And that's by design. They deliberately build bigger retail spaces so they can get a more stable, deeper pocketed tenant. And it comes at the expense of the community.
Yeah, like
banks could be around the corner on the second floor. Nobody really cares.
They don't build fine-grained retail anymore unless it's someplace like North York Center.
I was about to say the exception would be Willowdale. There's a lot of like really small,
those tiny little,
almost micro units.
Yeah. Like why can't they do that downtown? I don't know.
Because as the building owner, it's more of a headache dealing with all. You either have multiple tenants or they're all condos and they're harder to sell.
Yeah.
It's easier just to have one big unit. In medium-sized units, we're seeing that on Yonge Street. Yonge Street has lost so much unique and interesting retail, and it's been replaced by just generic corporate places.
Yeah, I've talked about that quite a bit.
I call it the blandification of Yonge Street. We're just gonna end in front of Bloor Station for absolutely no reason, other than it seems like a place to end. We're about 40 minutes into the video.
That's a good length.
I saw you were live streaming up here yesterday. I tuned into your stream for like 2 seconds, and I always ask myself, where is he right now?
Yeah.
And I saw the streetcar tracks, and I saw the dominoes, and I'm like, that's Bloor Street. And I'm like, Bathurst Street doesn't have streetcars north of Bloor. And I'm like, yes, they do, because they run up to the streetcar house.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's got to be on Bathurst.
Do you do what I do, where if I click onto somebody streaming, I like to challenge myself to see how fast I can figure out exactly where they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I like trying to stream snipe you when I'm on my scooter or bike. Because I usually don't know where you are, and I glance down at your stream while I'm trying to record a video.
Right, right.
Okay, I gotta go there. I know he's probably about 20 seconds ahead of me. Let's duck into the shade here. But that just about wraps this one up. A very informal, casual walk with, I forget your name again?
The Cam Conturnium.
The Cam Conturnium.
That's right. Yeah.
Do check out his channel. I'll put a link to that down in the description. It is bloody hot. I am sweating.
It's so hot. Yeah, it's so hot.
I didn't even put the camera on myself this video. I let Ken do the whole intro. He's always a hog like that. But yeah, check out a link to his channel. If you wish to support what I do here on this channel, there's links down below to Patreon, YouTube channel membership. I have an Instagram account, which I only seem to update when I'm on vacation. And there is a super thanks button down below if you fancy yourself to be a super awesome person. But I think that's about it. I want to thank Ken for coming along with me. Now I'm going to do the YouTube equivalent of tanking and make an absolutely horrible video with him on purpose. I'm just going to be screeching, and randomly yelling.
That might just get more views than ever then.
Yeah, pretend my Tourette's is kicking in.
Right. Johnny Goes Berserk. 1 million views. There you go.
I'm the next Cash Jordan. That's gonna get me to views.
Oh,
that's
God.
all I'm gonna do.
Oh God.
Migrants have robbed everywhere in Toronto blind. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Ultimate.
I'm gonna make the same video 100 more times. Anyways, he seems like a nice guy. Just wish he did more apartment tours. That's a weird tangent to go off on.
Well, he's following the money. Yeah.
And you can't really blame him, but I want to thank you guys. And yeah, that's about it. I'm just kind of aimlessly droning on here. We'll let Ken wrap this one up. I'll give him 1 minute to freestyle rap.
Be sure to follow us on the YouTubes. Because I can't think of anything on rhymes with YouTubes.
I can, but it's not appropriate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
All right. Hit me with the Y word.
What the well? Yoink!
I'm going to use that as my intro.